Let me do an example.
I'll give you another example. And again, this goes back to the context and the connotation.
So this is something that you've adjusted to since being in the UK.
Oh no, this is not something I personally ever said myself, but I can quote from like national TV,
right,
of Spanish people. Obviously, it wouldn't be in a normal TV show. We're talking about a late night show, maybe something like, you know, not in like the Times, but I've heard like, you know, Spanish presenters just say the N word.
Really?
Yeah, and just be like that, and just say it and be like, yeah, like, you know, trying to be like, you know, cool and gangster and all that stuff, and that's when it makes you think, and you're like, so, you know, when I grew up with that, I never, we don't grow with that, because as I said before, that first of all, it's not a Spanish word, so obviously you wouldn't say it. It's not in your language. It's not in your vocabulary. So the impression of it is just like, you know, it's just like a funky word, or just like a buzzword which you don't really know the meaning of. You just say it because like it sounds like you're cool when you say it, but we don't really know the meaning behind it.
Oh right. Okay.
So obviously, like, it would be unfair to put all the blame on those people that say it. But then again, if you don't know what that word means, you shouldn't really be saying it altogether, which is my opinion on it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
See, one thing which I was going to go off when you said about context before, about, you know, how like in Spain, if you were going to an off license, you'd say the Chinese.
Yeah.
If you said that here without knowing that, people would think, oh, let's go for the takeaway. We're going for a Chinese takeaway.
Yeah.
And I think that's when it revolves around to the context of what the word means in each place.
Yeah. And that's why we need to be careful, because sometimes we might say something and try to, you know, not be offensive at all, or maybe the way that we grew up, maybe that word or that thing that we said or we made wasn't really offensive, but maybe it's perceived as offensive to the other person that's in front of you. So that's why I think we always need to be really conscious when we speak to people, maybe especially those people that they grew up in a different culture as we did. And I'm really conscious about that, because I personally grew up in a different culture, so what I might see is okay. And this has happened before. I can't really think of any examples right now, but I know I've been in situations before where, you know, I've been given feedback, or I've been told that maybe like what I said was maybe not right. And it's really obviously now obviously when I think about it, it's actually embarrassing to look back and actually think of a situation of it. But back in the day, you really don't aim to do it in a really bad way. You just grew up and you just didn't really knew that would be offensive in the first place, so you just say it and you do it. So I'm personally like really like passionate about making sure that, you know, people know what they're talking about at all times. And sometimes even ourselves will fall into the trap of doing something or doing an action or saying something that we personally think is not offensive, but then it could be perceived as offensive, and what we're doing is we're contributing to the whole racism, and we're contributing to like such a big problem that it is right now, that we're even helping and fixing. You know, I'm sure we've all donated in here and we've all really contributed, but then we'll say something and then we're actually making this snowball bigger. So that's why we need to be really, really aware of what we say and what we do and all the actions that we do, because sometimes we'll do them without even noticing, without even realizing. And it might not be to our culture that we're really close to, but maybe to someone that maybe we haven't grown up with, and maybe we'll do something that's not really perceived as good in the books.
I think it's really important to be sensitive to people's like own understandings of like what is culturally acceptable, because like there's a lot of people, like you say, who would not think that something's like offensive and they just say it normally, and people would get really offended by it.